Last month, I paid someone $10,000 without having to be convinced on a sales call, just off of watching their YouTube videos. And here's the crazy thing, I didn't even buy because of logic. I wasn't even sure exactly what I was gonna get. There was a call where we did go through the deliverables, but I was already sold on the idea of buying at that full price before hopping on the call. And I realized that I bought because of the personal connection I felt to that creator just from binge watching his content. So I started asking myself, why do some people's content get binge watched and then they convert like crazy, while others' content just feels and you don't really care to watch their videos. So after analyzing my own behavior and seeing it replicated across dozens of other creators' channels, I broke it down into a formula and I call it the again formula. And here's the part that most people probably won't notice. In this video I'm actually using the again formula, but once you see it you can't unsee it. But first, quick context, I'm Ben. I work with school game winners like Evelyn Weiss and Dan Harrison on their YouTube videos. I built and now manage the ads editing team for school as the platform. We've edited a couple Alex Emoji ads, for example. And before I tell you how this again formula works, let me actually tell you the backstory of how I realized this. So I found this creator called Jack Hopkins and I started binge watching his channel. First, it was just one video, then it turned into another video, then it was like 4 videos, then it was an entire afternoon. And then over the week, every single day, I binge watched his channel. And this went on for quite a while. I was on the YouTube channel, then I went to his Insta, back to YouTube, then I saw some Insta stories, etc. And eventually what it led to was me paying him $10,000, which is kind of a big deal for me because that's basically an entire month of work for me. But here's the thing, I didn't feel sold to. I didn't feel manipulated. It was the most obvious choice in the world to me. And that's when it hit me that bingeable content is the real sales system. Ads and funnels and traditional persuasion, yes, they can work and help, but the compounding effect of watching someone's first video, then another video, then another video, and another video, spending hours with them, that's insanely powerful. And there's also a Google study that says that you need to spend 7 hours of time with someone before buying their product. Now this isn't always the case, but especially for high ticket it kind of is. Now what's important to even create this bingeable effect is that you need to keep opening more loops. So after watching one video, one question for me got solved, but then another one arose that I needed to answer with the next video. There's always this tension being created of where I am and then where I think I need to go, and the next video is going to help me bridge that gap. And by bridging a lot of these gaps one after another, it builds massive trust. Now let's go into each of the letters in the again formula, but every section you're about to see, I'm not just explaining, I'm demonstrating in real time. The hook you just heard, that was intrigue and authenticity working together. And this section right here is authority without ego. And by the end of the video, you'll see how all 5 elements create a binge loop that turns viewers into buyers. So let's break it down. A stands for authority, but not in the way most people think. Authority here isn't about credentials. It's not about I made X amount in Y time frame, although that is very important for the intro still. But authority here, it's about clarity. When someone sounds unsure, you don't binge them. You only binge them when they're fully convinced that what they're telling you is the truth, that their way of thinking is the one that you need to follow to get the best results. And that's why good scripting matters, not to sound fancy, but to remove the uncertainty in your words. And then think about the creators you binge watch. I'm sure they're not always the biggest authority in their space, but they talk with insane conviction, and that's why you listen to them. There's a couple of people where I'm like, I know more than this guy, but I still watch them just because they have this clarity. You need authority in the first 30 seconds or your viewer will bounce. So this is how you can implement it. Instead of saying, I think this will work, maybe this will work for you, I hope this helps, say, here's what actually works. Secondly, use specific frameworks because vague advice sounds uncertain. This is literally why I'm giving you the again formula. My light sadly just gave up, but moving on to the gaps. This is the entire engine of bingeable content. If authority makes people listen, gaps make them feel uncomfortable enough to keep watching. That might sound backwards because why would you want your viewers to feel uncomfortable, but it actually makes sense when you think about it. Because for educational videos, people don't binge videos because they're entertaining. They watch because they think something's unresolved for them and that your piece of content can help them bridge the gap. And then the painful realization that something in between is broken. They don't know how to get there. Most creators think if I just post consistently and keep giving value, then people will care to listen. But the gap they're missing is that consistency doesn't create binge behavior, it's tension that does. If your content doesn't widen the gap of where someone is and where they want to go, they don't feel the urgency and they scroll or click away. That's how with my client Evelyn, we were able to generate $10,000 in sales off of a single YouTube video because people had already built up trust with her. And that last video showed her authority again and showed people the gap of where they want to get to. Then with the link in the description to her mastermind, she got 2 calls booked, barely had to do any convincing, didn't have to use any shady sales tactics, and got 2 new mastermind clients from one video. So this is how you create gaps in your content. First, you challenge their current approach. You tell them why it's wrong, why it has a ceiling, or why they can't grow as far with it. Second, use the not because, but because structure. Most creators don't fail because they lack talent, but because they don't understand attention, like that. And third, don't resolve everything in one video, or if you do, then you want to open a gap for the next video. But here's the thing though, gaps without trust feel manipulative, which gets us to the next A, authenticity. Authenticity is what makes people stay, but a lot of people get it wrong and they think, oh, I need to be authentic, let me cry on camera, let me tell my people about all my problems, and let me basically be super vulnerable on camera, which can work in some cases, but in many cases you can also destroy your reputation. What I mean by authenticity is being a predictable human. Stay true to your values, tell people your values, tell people what you stand for, have a collection of stories that you like to tell to explain these things, and keep reusing them in your content. An example for a story is the one that I started this video with. Paying someone $10,000 even though I was just binging his YouTube videos. That's basically authenticity in action. But authenticity alone doesn't make people click the next video. For that you need intrigue. This is the multiplier. If your content is good, if you have enough intrigue, you can 10x it, you can 100x it. There's this reel that I recently watched where it was like, assuming your content is good, the value that you provide, and it's not getting views, then the only thing that's left that has to be fixed probably is your delivery on it. So that can be within the video, or it can be the title, the thumbnail, the packaging in general. Now for your delivery, I would recommend you to build in rehooks throughout the video. Things like, oh, this is good, but without this it's not gonna work, which you might have seen me do a few times throughout this video. So we have rehooks and we have titles and thumbnails. The titles and thumbnails are really important because you need to convince someone to actually click on your video first before you can get them to watch. Before you can even deal with the problem of getting them to stay on your video. You need them to click first. That's why I'd recommend you to think of the title and thumbnail every time before you actually make the video, and also stealing from other people's work. So you see a thumbnail and title that you like, you turn it into a formula, and then you make your own version of it. And this is a gap that I created for you because if you don't know how to make the right titles and thumbnails yet, you'll probably click on another one of my videos after this one because I'm not gonna explain them in this video. It would take way too long and you would forget everything else we talked about. So instead, let me tell you what intrigue actually is. It's unresolved tension. It's the feeling that you're about to learn something that you really can't miss. Here's another example of how it works. The title of this video is probably something along the lines of how to create bingeable content, the again formula. This mainly creates intrigue because you don't know what the again formula is. You also want to see if I can deliver on it because who's this random dude? And you want to know if this framework actually works and how you can implement it for yourself. And notice what I did in the beginning of the video. I told you that throughout this video I'm going to use again on you. So now you're not just watching to learn, but actually also to spot these patterns. Meaning to apply this for yourself, open loops, but don't close them too early. And then also tease what's coming. In a minute I'm going to tell you why XYZ. But first let me tell you about this other thing. Now we covered again without the N, because N stands for new opportunities. Russell Brunson, one of the greatest marketers ever pretty much, talks about this all the time. New vehicle, new mechanism, new belief. Every video should answer the question of what's now possible that wasn't before. Not just try harder, but do this instead. Do this new thing that you didn't know existed, but that is now a possibility. And now that you know from me that this is a possibility, you need to watch my content to keep learning about this. That's what you want to implement for your own content. So let me show you what this looks like in practice. The bad version is you need to post more consistently on YouTube. Okay, yeah, I've heard that 1,000 times before. Why would that even help me? But now here's the better version. What if YouTube isn't just a content platform, but a sales system? What if each video is designed to get someone closer to buying, not just to watching more? Do you see the difference? One is telling you what you already know you should be doing. The other one is introducing a new opportunity. And that's exactly what happened to me with Jack Hopkins. Although he did motivate me to work harder and just try more, it was also a new opportunity that he introduced that made me more curious. So to build new opportunities into your content, reframe the problem, show people that they're solving the wrong problem, then introduce the right one. Introduce a new mechanism, don't just tell people what to do, but the system or the framework behind it, and then point to a better feature. Each video should end with someone thinking, oh, I need to learn about this because this might actually work for me. So if you made it this far, you already experienced the again formula, but let me recap how it worked so you can better implement it for your own content. Authenticity, for me this was school ads, Alex Hormozi, and client results. Gaps, I showed you that content isn't about quality, it's about tension and unresolved loops. Authenticity, I told you personal stories, spending $10,000 on someone's random course. Intrigue, I opened loops and withheld information until later, basically on purpose to keep you watching. New opportunity, I reframed YouTube as not just content, but actually as a sales machine. So if you felt this and this makes sense for you, then implement it into your own content. And if you want my help with it, then the first link in the description is a link to work with me and my team directly. And the second link in the description is if you want to do this yourself. There's a 7-day free YouTube challenge where I run you through exactly how to start posting on YouTube the right way. And if you decide to stay afterwards, there's also group coaching calls and things of that nature. But if now you would just want to learn more about intrigue and how to get people to click on your videos by making amazing titles and thumbnails, then check out this video on the end screen right now.